Okay. So we were studying this reliability metrics, and we studied four reliability metrics. Then there is another one, that is the which we called POFOD, which means that probability of failure on demand. Now, unlike the matrices that we have discussed so far, this metric, it does not involve directly, it does not involve time measurements. It is, as from the name you can see, there is a word probability. So it measures the likelihood of the system failing when a service request is made. Okay, suppose I have a POFOD value as 0.001. I have this value, so it would mean that 1 out of 1000 service requests, it will result in a failure. Fine. So this metric is very much appropriate for software products that are not required to run continuously. So far the matrices which we discussed, they demanded the softwares to run for like continuously. Now this is that metric which will help for the products we do not run continuously, but they run when a service is made to them, or in peak demanding hours. For those, we measure the reliability metric using POFOD. So this will give me the probability how a system will fail, that when a service require is made to a system. Okay. And the last metric which we use is availability metric. So okay. So this availability of a system, it will measure that how likely would the system be available for use over a given period of time. Okay. So this metric is not only, it considers the number of failures that will occur during a time interval, but also it will take into account the repair time, because how likely one system will be available for use after a certain period of time. So in that period, how many failures occurred, what is the time required to fix, then again the system is rebooted, then again the system is made available. So entire everything it will take into account. So it will consider the number of failures occurring, it will consider the repair time of the system when the failure has occurred. So this is that metric which is very important for systems such as like operating system, telecommunication system, some controllers. So they are supposed to be never down, right? The operating system, telecommunication system, they are supposed to be never down. And here, repair and restart time, they are very much important, very much significant for these systems. Why? Because loss of service during that entire time, it cannot be overlooked. For a telecommunication system, suppose a tower has been down, so people are not being able to communicate with each other, right? So fast action needs to be taken, that when a tower will be down and then my tower will be up, the time will be very short. Okay, suppose OS, a lot of works is taking place of the OS and the entire OS of a company it crashes down, will the work happen? No, na. So this type of systems where this loss of service is very much important, this restart time, uh, repair time, they are very much significant. For those type of systems we measure the availability metric of the software reliability metrics of software products. Okay, so these were the concept of the different reliability metrics that we have for a software product. The first one was the Rockoff. Next was the MTTF. Next was the MTTR. From MTTF, MTTR combined, we have MTBF. Then we have POFOD. And then we have this availability, right? So these are the different matrices or the different reliability matrices of any software product. Now, what are the shortcomings of these reliability products? There must be some shortcomings, right? Now, what are the shortcomings? Now, the matrices which we have studied so far, they also suffer from several shortcomings. So one of the reason that these metrics are centered, one of the reasons why these shortcomings is happening is that if you can see, they are very much centered about the probability of occurrence of system failures, but they do not take into account of the consequences of the failures. They are more focused on occurrence of failures. If you see, failure has occurred, this thing is coming, but not on what the consequences of failure has occurred. I think, Anaitullah, you are not getting what I am repeating from yesterday. I am not taking any attendance in the chat box. I will share the LMS. If there are some students after sharing of the LMS and the keywords code, they are not being able to do because of their network issues or something like that. Only they should write in the chat box their names. So do not write your chat box in the chat box unnecessarily. I have not shared the QR code even now. This and you know what? This shows the thing that you people do not listen to what I am saying. That is, you people just log in and you people just keep on mute and you people keep the mobile aside. This is the proof. Anyways, so the shortcomings of this matrix is due to this one of the reasons, among the many reasons. One reason is that it always focuses on the probability of occurrence of the failures and they do not take into account the consequences of the failures. That is, they do not distinguish the severity of different failures. One failure may have not so much critical consequences, but another type of failure may have some critical consequences, but they do not take into account this. They just see how many failures have occurred in what period of time. They will calculate according the MTTR, MTBF, MTTF. So like this, they will occur. So two factors are required. One is the number of failures, another is the time taken for this failure. Okay. And but the failures whose effect or whose consequences are not that much serious, they will be minor failures. But severe type of failures, they can hamper my system. So it is very much needed to classify the various type of failures as well. But this classification was not included in this reliability metric. They just count the number of failures and the time taken to do the failure or the time taken to recover back from the failure. But it was very much important to estimate also that mm, what is the classification or what is the various type of failures that can occur. And one thing also, if I can describe a few classes of failures like low, moderate, high, and so, one failure at one time can belong to more than one class also. So that is not a problem. So now we will look about the classification of failures. Okay. So for classification of failures, the first failure which we have is the transient failure. That is this type of the failures we name transient failures when they occur only for certain input value while invoking the function of the system. So they will only occur for certain input value. Okay. Next, we say or we classify as permanent failures. They will occur for all inputs value. So when we invoke the function of a system, it will give me an error for all type of inputs I am putting or giving to the system. So those errors or failures we refer to as permanent failures. Then we have another class that is recoverable failures. When this when the system can recover without having to shut down or restart, then we will say it's a recoverable failure. So okay, so with or without this operator intervention, if the system can recover on itself without having to shut down or restart the entire system, we will say that that error is in the recoverable category. Then there is obviously unrecoverable, where the system needs to be restarted in order to stop the failure. Right, the system needs to be restarted. And the last one is cosmetic failure. Now this is a very fine type of failure, that is they only cause minor problems, that is minor irritations. By minor irritations, what do we mean? They do not lead to any incorrect result. Suppose I will give you an example of a cosmic failure. Suppose you are working in your laptop and you are using an external mouse, and the mouse button has to be clicked twice instead of once to invoke a given function. So suppose there is a function, that function, it could have started by clicking the mouse once, but somehow it is not, that function is not working properly, and we need to click that function two times, that button two times. So suppose I have a GUI interface where there is a button. That button should work when I will click it in once only, but you will be see that some of the websites we need to click double times because that button is not working properly. So this is a very minor problem because that won't lead to any incorrect result. But still, definitely it is a problem. So that type of synthetic problems we refer to as the cosmetic failure. Okay. So these are the different classification of failures. And also it is not necessary that one class of failure will only be present in one class only. It may happen that a type of failure is in category 1, 1 and 2, or in category 4 and 5 together. It may happen. A failure can belong to more than one classes. Okay. So is there any query up to so far which we have studied the different reliability metrics, the shortcomings of the reliability metrics, and so why it was necessary to classify the type of failures and how the classification of the different type of failures are there? Is there any issue in understanding?
Ma'am, number four, unrecoverable.
Number four, unrecoverable. Unrecoverable means uh, suppose तुम्हारा you have this Microsoft document you are working on, and suppose the system has hanged. So if the OS has hanged, then you cannot work on it anymore without restart. You need to restart your OS, right? So that is an example of unrecoverable failure. It is not an error, but it is a failure. That is, my system needs to be restarted in order so that I can again work on my system. This is an example of unrecoverable. That is, the system on its own is not solving the thing. I will forcefully have to restart the system or shut down and again start, whatever it is. I will have to do it. It is not recoverable on its own. So that is an example of unrecoverable failure. Is that okay now?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, cosmetic.
Huh?
Ma'am,
Voice.
cosmetic. I don't understand.
Cosmetic is, suppose you are working on a you are not working, you are visiting a website, and in that website suppose a button is there where you will click and you will be able to submit a particular form. So generally what happens, this submit buttons on any website, I click it only once, so my form gets submitted. But in that website, on clicking one time, that is not happening, but you are seeing that using your mouse, if you click it two times, the form is getting submitted. It may happen. This is a failure of the website or of the service or of the app. So this is also a failure. That is, anything that the system is supposed to do which is not showing is a failure. But this failure won't cause any big problem, because it won't happen that whatever you are writing is not getting saved. It won't happen that whatever you have inputted the value, it won't go to the server or the company won't receive your input. Nothing like that. But instead of getting the form submitted by clicking the button one time, it is taking two times to click, then the problem or the information is getting submitted. So this type of problems which creates minor irritations, but they do not lead to any incorrect result. So this type of problem, or failures rather, we refer to as cosmetic failure. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now the next topic which we will study is reliability growth curve. Okay. So this reliability growth model, it is a mathematical model. First, the very first thing which is need to be known. It's a mathematical model, and it will show that how the software reliability improves as errors are detected and repaired. So mathematical model to represent. Okay, so this reliability growth model, we can use it to predict that when a particular level of reliability is likely to be attained, because this reliability growth modeling, it can be used to determine that when to stop testing to attain a given reliability level. So since it will give me a representation that how my software reliability is improving day by day, so it will help me to determine that when I should stop testing. I should not go on testing my system to check the reliability for an infinite time, right? So I should refer to a curve that, okay, so if my curve reaches this section, I will stop and I will say that fine, it has reached the maximum level of reliability. This software or this software product or this software service, it can be purchased, right? So this is the concept of reliability growth models. It's a mathematical model. It is used to represent the reliability improvements as errors are fixed and they are repaired, and it will help me to predict that when a particular level of reliability is likely to attain or has attained, in order so that I can tell my developer team that okay fine, it has achieved the level, you may stop testing now, you may now sell this product, or you may now release or publish this product. Okay, so two base a lot of reliability models are there, but two basic simple reliability growth models are there. One is the Lenski Moranda model, and another one is the Littlewood Verrells model. So, two models of growth are there, which is included in your syllabus, and in most of the syllabus, rather, in my BTech level also, these two models only we have studied. So, now we will study about these two reliability model. Okay. Okay. So the first one of the reliability growth model, it is the Zelensky and Moranda model. Now this growth model is a step function model. Now here it is assumed that the reliability increases by a constant increment. Suppose each time an error is detected and it is repaired, the reliability increases by a constant increment. Okay. So the main funda or the main logic is that it is assumed that So if I draw the curve, so suppose if I have here the time and if I have here a reliability metric, then it will look like this, like this. Na? So this is the step function model. That is, each time an error is detected and it is repaired, then the level of reliability it is increased. So like this entire model is designed. But there is a shortcoming, that there is a big disadvantage. So the big shortcoming is that the disadvantage or the unrealistic thing is that it assumes that all errors contribute equally to the reliability growth. That is, it assumes that all errors contribute equally to the reliability growth model. But it is very much unrealistic, because we already have discussed that correction of different errors will contribute differently to the reliability growth. So those errors which are very much important, the correction of those errors will increase my graph, and those errors, suppose the cosmetic type of failures, the correction of this type of failures will not increase my graph much, because this type of failures are very subtle failures, they won't be affecting my system much, na? So since equal step functions you can see, so it will assume that all the errors are equal, they contribute equally. But in actual case this is not the case, different categories of errors contribute differently in the reliability curve, growth curve model, right? So this is the major disadvantage for this model, due to which the second model came, that is the Littlewood and Verrall's model. So first I will give the attendance, then I will discuss this. Okay, so everyone give the attendance first. Is it done for all?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And if there is anyone who is having some problem, then that person write your name in the chat box. So I have seen like Amar, Ankita has written that they are having some problem and they are not being able to. Is the site not opening for everyone? Okay. So it is done for all, right? Okay. So I'm stopping this, and those people who are not being able to do due to this network problem or something, you people write your name in the chat box and I will give you the attendance from there. Okay. The rest who has been able to mark, well and fine. So the next model which we will study is So Littlewood and Verrall's model. So this model, what it extra includes, it allows for negative reliability growth. That is, it will reflect the fact that when a repair is carried out, it may introduce additional errors, right? Because the ground level, it is true that upon fixation of one error, it may happen some others errors are introduced. So it will include this negative thing, that is, when one air repair is done, it may introduce other additional errors. And also it models that fact that as errors are repaired, the average improvement to the product reliability
कोई पेन ले गया?
per
एक को बार अंकितवा लगा है कि मांग के पेन
Arya,
रखल की तो
please
नहीं है,
mute yourself.
फट गेला खेल कि अभी तक है यहाँ पे फट ली है खाली ऐसे मोड़ के जो पहना ली ना सबको ऐसे कौची
Okay. So it does what that that as errors are repaired, the average improvement to the product per repairability per repair, it will decrease. So it treats an error's contribution to this reliability improvement to be an independent random variable. So errors are considered to be independent random variable. So the error's contribution will be dealt independently using some gamma distribution function. So what will help us? Using this model, whatever graph we will have, we will be able to see that the error corrections with large contribution or the larger contribution to this reliability growth, they should be removed first. Okay. So if I have larger error contribution to my reliability growth, those section of errors will be removed first, and where there is smaller error contribution to my reliability growth, those section of errors will be removed later. So these are the two models of reliability growth modeling. One is the Lenski-Moranda model. In that, few disadvantage was there. That disadvantage is it considers all error contributions to be of equal value, but it is not the case in case of actual world. The next one, Littlewood and Verrall's model, it included this negative reliability growth concept, that is, fixation of an error may include or may create more errors. So that concept is included over here. Okay. So these are the two models of reliability growth model. So now I will stop the class as time has also ended. And in the next class, we will start from this statistical testing concept under this reliability module. Okay. So one module we have finished about this coding and testing one, and the next module which we are studying now is about this. You will see in your syllabus the reliability hazards and so on. So this module which we are studying now. Okay. So till now, up to what we have discussed in the two classes today, do anyone has any query? If you have any query, you may ask. Okay, so I suppose no one has any query, so I will stop the share, and thank you so much for attending this class. Thank you.